Welcome to
Sunday Chat.
There we are. I'm wearing my poncho, Paul.
You are, yes.
It's cold. It's turned cold. And the house is cold at the moment because we've been away. We've been away. We left the house with no heating on, deliberately.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to heat an empty house. However, the house gets cold.
Yeah, it does.
When that happens, it really does get cold. It takes a couple of days to really warm up again.
There is a thought, isn't there, that if you leave your heating on minimally, it saves you energy in the long run. But I think that's been disproven.
Well, I think some people leave their heating on low, don't they?
Yeah.
Constantly.
Yeah. I think if there was a chance of pipes freezing, then, that makes absolute sense.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think we'd do that in the middle of winter. We'd leave it on.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
If we were away.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'd leave it on low, but not constantly.
No.
Just on time.
But there is that. There are people who leave it on constantly on a low.
I know, Paul. We don't need to keep on talking about it now.
I was just re-mentioning it. That's all.
No. So welcome to the show. It's not a long one this week.
No.
Because actually we're both quite tired.
Yes.
We got back from our trip to Wales yesterday, and it was rather a long journey.
It was. It was longer than normal.
It was much longer than normal because of traffic.
Yeah.
It was Friday evening, so...
Birmingham.
Birmingham was incredibly busy. And we were stuck in traffic for quite a long time, and a journey that would normally take sort of 4.5 took about nearly 5.5.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
We have a break halfway through as well. So we break for like 15 minutes. Time for me to decant in the services.
You mean go to the loo?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can say go to the loo.
Yeah.
We're not going to get blocked for saying that, Paul.
Well, you never know, do you? You never know.
Let's reflect. Let's spend a little time reflecting on our breakaway. So we went to see some friends. We stayed in North Wales. Had a lovely time. The weather was very changeable.
Very.
We did get caught.
We did.
In a shower, a very heavy shower.
Twice.
Yeah.
2 separate showers.
That was fun.
It was quite fun, wasn't it?
Yeah, no, it was. I mean, who worries about getting caught in the rain?
Because I did that video. There was a video. We went for a walk on when was it? I think Wednesday. And as we were coming back, I saw lots of sheep.
You did.
And they were being moved from one field to another, or I thought they were, one pasture to another. And in the end, they were actually being herded across a road. So it was all sort of manoeuvring of the sheep, which was fascinating. But as I started filming this, the heavens opened.
It did.
And boy, did it chuck it down. Absolutely chucked it down.
And we were wearing coats on that occasion.
We were dry-ish.
The second occasion we weren't wearing coats, were we? Because it's also been incredibly mild as well.
Yeah, it has.
Hasn't it? It only turned cold towards the end of our stay and towards the end of this week, didn't it? Yeah.
We popped into Dolgethly to get some baked goods. And on the way back, as Richard said, it didn't look as though it was going to rain. It was mild. Yeah, and we got drenched on the way back.
We did. But that was fun. We were dripping.
Yeah.
Dripping, glasses steamed up.
You were running.
Yeah, because it was pouring down with rain.
He was running. I don't think I've seen you run for quite a long time.
Well, now you have. I hope it was worth it, Paul.
Well, I think you were. Did you have your camera with you? I think you were. No.
No.
You were just worried about the baked goods getting.
Did I have my camera with me?
You had your bag with you. Was your camera in your bag?
No, I wasn't. Oh yeah. No, I did have my bag. No, my camera was perfectly safe, packed up in my bag. No, I just didn't want to get completely soaked through, but I did anyway.
Yeah, yeah.
So it didn't matter.
And there's also that thing, isn't there, which I'm sure is wrong, where people say if you run in rain, you get just as wet as if you walk. And I can't quite work out the logic of that. Because surely if you're walking, you're going to be in the rain for a longer span of time and will get wetter. Is that fascinating?
Oh God, I'm just riveted. I'm so riveted I can't speak. So yeah, we had a good time. The obviously the highlight is seeing our friends, but the main highlight was visiting Portmeirion.
Yes, fabulous place.
So for those of you who don't know what Portmeirion is, it is a small village which was built by an architect some time ago, and it was used as the location for the exterior shoots on the 60s TV show The Prisoner. So it's a purpose-built resort effectively, but it was done so to prove that developments in villages could be built to be very attractive and functional as well. And I mean, it's a stunning place to visit. It is now a resort with hotels and rooms that you can rent, that you can, go on a break to, and self-catering cottages as well. And of course, people come in for day trips. So you spend a few hours there, which we did. We spent a couple of hours walking around, taking photos, and just taking in this remarkable place.
Is it Italian? Is that?
There's a sort of Italian influence, a sort of European influence. And I mean, it's just incredible because it's right on the coast.
Yeah.
And
on an estuary, isn't it?
Yeah. And I found, to be honest, at the beginning when we first sort of walked in and took in the scene, I was slightly overwhelmed. Now, I have been there before.
I haven't.
But I was a baby.
Right.
And there are photos somewhere of me as a baby at Portmeirion. So obviously I don't remember any of it, but I remember being told. And I also remember watching The Prisoner when it was rerun in the 80s.
I haven't watched it. I've never watched it.
It's a very strange programme.
I quite like to watch it now because now I know the location. It would be nice to go, oh, that bit's from there, that bit's from there.
Well, it was very of its time.
Was it surreal?
The late 60s, surreal. A bit like some of the Avengers, some of the Avengers with Diana Rigg. Some of those episodes were a little bit surreal.
Yeah, quite a few of them actually.
Yeah, so it kind of had that vibe, that sort of slightly psychedelic vibe from the 60s.
But the village itself is all of the houses, all of the apartments, rooms, lodgings. There's a town hall there as well. There's a centre, like a garden, which is just like the hub of the place. And they're all in these wonderful pastel colours. Some have got balconies, most have got some type of balustrade on them. Some are really tall, and they're all dotted about the hillside,
well,
really, aren't they?
Some of the colours I wouldn't describe as pastels. Some of them are extremely vibrant.
Well, yes,
and they're colours that we wouldn't use in this country ordinarily because we don't have the light.
But actually, we did have the light, didn't we? We had the blue skies.
Yeah, but why did we have the light? Why do you get the light there? Because you've got the sea.
Yeah. So
and the light is different when you're by the sea. It's brighter, it's more intense. And you can get away with those colours with that intensity of light. And we were very lucky. We arrived, there had been a shower when we arrived, but the rain stayed off. So you walk through this village and you're completely wowed by these different styles of architecture. There are different styles. There's wooden buildings. There's Italian type towers and cottages.
And there's a bell tower as well, isn't there?
Yeah.
That chimes.
You just sort of swept up, and it wasn't too busy.
No.
It was busy-ish, but not too busy. So you could move around quite freely.
And there was and by the hotel, there's a folly. And a folly we normally sort of think of as something on a hillside, sort of, from a distance. And a folly is a building that has little use. And in front of the hotel is a boat, isn't there?
It's
a moored boat.
Folly of a boat.
And then you get up to it to then realise that the boat isn't moored. This boat has been built actually on the land, and it just looks as though it's a moored boat, which you can get onto. It's just fascinating.
And the thing that fascinated me is it's quite higgledy-piggledy. So there are little alleyways, and then you turn around a corner, there's another road that you've not seen. So you have to sort of search out the different places and the nooks and crannies. And there are also hidden places, so you think, where do those steps go to? And there's no sign saying private, so you venture down, you find another place. We also came across a bunny.
Yes.
Just sat there on a lawn.
A rabbit.
A wild rabbit. It didn't look like a domesticated rabbit.
No.
Sitting there eating.
Quite happily as we
with
watched
people
it a
moving
few feet
past.
away.
There was a white blackbird.
Yeah. Did you get footage of that?
I got a picture. You'll see it on Instagram, Facebook, Planet Vegetaria. That's a Facebook group by Richard and Paul. A white blackbird, which was accompanied by a wren.
Yes, yeah.
And they were sort of playing together. We saw an extremely tame robin as well.
Extraordinarily tame.
It was just there, not moving. So I think these animals probably have become used to people.
So accustomed to footfall.
Yeah, because, a lot of people visit Portmeirion. So there are beautiful woodland walks, sort of cliffside walks, overlooking the sea and the estuary. There's sort of like a sort of beachy area.
Well, there's the coastal walk, isn't there, that
Yeah.
you go on. And then above the coastal walk is a woodland walk.
Yeah, and there are various aspects to that woodland walk. There are different routes you can take. So it's an incredibly interesting place to go. You can spend a good few hours there. There are cafes, there's an ice cream parlour. We didn't purchase any food or drink, but just fascinating, absolutely incredible place to visit. So, if you ever get the chance, highly recommended. I can also imagine actually on a stormy winter's day it can be quite dramatic as well.
Yeah.
But we were lucky with the sun.
And the skies.
It brought the place to life.
I think it's one of those places, like Kew, that actually as the seasons change, the place changes as well. And I noticed that they do actually have an annual pass. I mean, not that we would buy it because we don't live anywhere near
Too
it
far away.
to go regularly like we do with Kew. But I think if you were living locally to it or near it within an hour's drive, let's say, I think an annual pass there would be lovely because you would see it through the seasons and that would be lovely because, of course, the light changes, the trees change, the shrubs change.
The footfall changes.
The footfall will change,
and also you could visit at different times of the day because I can imagine first thing in the morning being the first people to enter. You've got a little bit more space, but also I think the amazing thing would be to stay there.
Yeah.
Because you'd be able to access it out of hours, which would be even better. That was Portmeirion.
It was fascinating. It really was.
Yeah, it is an amazing place to visit. So we're very lucky to have been able to have done that.
And of course, the other side of Portmeirion is people will know Portmeirion from the pottery designs, and also, as Richard said, from the prisoner. So I think quite a few people visit there thinking they'll buy some pottery or see the place that the prisoner was filmed, and there's a little gift shop for the prisoner as well. But what I liked about it was that the place itself wasn't overtaken by the selling of the prisoner or the selling of the pottery. These were shops that are actually pretty tucked away, and it lets the place speak. If you see what I mean.
It's not commercialised. It's not there isn't a Burger King and a McDonald's there or anything like that.
No.
It's not opened itself up to commercial consumerism. Which is great. But anyway, let's move on, because otherwise we'll spend the whole time talking about Portmeirion, which we could do quite easily, but...
We could do.
Yeah, we could. So the weather has become a little cooler.
Yeah.
Paul, and a breezier time is being had.
It's grey at the moment. I popped to the plot earlier, and I was having been away for the best part of a week, certainly 5 days. I was quite surprised by how autumnal the site looked and the plot looked. There seemed to be a lot more leaf fall, and also what I've noticed is just next to the plot our neighbours have got a quince tree, and it gets to the time of year where the quince start falling. They have a fantastic smell to them, but I noticed that there were several quince on the floor, on the grass. I didn't have time to pick them up, but maybe I'll do that another time.
Don't be bringing any quince home, Paul.
Why?
Because no.
Poached quince.
No. No.
I'm not going to make chutney.
Don't start bringing things home and making jams and things at the moment.
I don't have time.
We don't need to be eating jams and sweet things.
No, I certainly don't. No.
Just don't do it.
But yeah, it is that time of year for quince, which do need to be cooked before they're eaten because they are rock hard. So yeah.
Well, I think people can decide for themselves, can't they?
Well, they might break their teeth if they try and eat them.
We're not the Quince Advisory Board.
Is there such a thing? I wonder if there is such a thing.
No, Paul.
Maybe there is.
So, because we've been away, there's not an awful lot to discuss.
No.
Really.
We've not watched a lot of TV. We only watch one thing.
I've got a tickle, Paul. That's better.
I did that earlier, didn't I?
That's lovely. So we haven't watched television. We haven't got an awful lot to talk about because we basically did a lot of relaxing, a lot of chatting, some cookery, drinking of tea, some walks, local walks to where we stayed. So it was actually ideal.
It was quiet time.
We needed to get away, and we'd had it planned for a while, so it kind of came, the week after my dad's funeral, which is good. So that was all sort of, appropriate timing.
Yeah, the last 4 weeks have been very busy, certainly. With going to Mum, your dad, and this as well.
Exactly.
And then this afternoon, I've got our allotments AGM. So that's coming up in about an hour or so. So I will be printing out paperwork for that I sorted out this morning. And next week, things sort of get back to normal, I think.
Back to work on Monday. Yeah. So we're kind of, I guess, a little bit flat today. It's that sort of post-holiday calm down, So I'm going to edit this, and then I'm frankly going to have a little lie down because I'm feeling a bit tired. Yeah.
I think it's that thing. Whenever we go away, we never sleep as well as we do at home, and And last night we both slept pretty well, didn't
But you
we?
kind of don't mind when you're away
No.
because there's no sort of timings and specific things that you're doing. You can relax anyway, and you can have an afternoon nap if you want to. Not that I did. I know you did on.
I went
you had
up
a
for
little
one,
nap, didn't
yeah,
you?
for about an hour.
So yeah, there's not a huge amount to talk about this week. So we're going to call it a day and say goodbye and get on with. You can sort out your stuff for your AGM.
Yeah.
I can edit this and have a little bit of a rest. So yeah.
I'm looking forward to the AGM being done.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, it's one of those things that, I mean, we didn't have it last year, but it's one of those things that there's a big build up for it. You've got to get a lot of paperwork together, the accounts and all of that, and then once it's done, yeah, that's good.
So we're going to say goodbye. Apologies that it's a short one, but you know, that's how it is sometimes. And we'll see you next week
for another Sunday chat.
That went right through me, that did. So thank you for watching and take care of yourselves, and we'll see you next week. Bye for now.
Bye.